Christine and Tim.
Christine, Sufran, Nitin.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Now, in order to be able to know how to craft your personal brand, you need to know your level. Where are you today to even know how to get to building a personal brand? So if I were to ask any one of you today, how many of you believe you already have a personal brand? Usually, on average, when I ask this question, I get divided responses, where some of you say, yes, I do have a personal brand, and some of you say, no, I actually don't have one. Well, I'm here to give you the actual answer. The answer is, all of you have a personal brand, whether you think you do or not.
But this world, as big as it is, one person can be the tipping scale to really create a domino effect that no one ever seen coming. I would like to remind people, there's going to be a lot of people that's going to judge you and tell you you're too naive.
All right. Hi, and welcome, everyone. So welcome back to the Get Booked to Speak Bootcamp. We are on session 3, y'all. Today's the last session of the series. Like I said, I do this once or twice a year. This is probably going to be the last time I'm doing it for the year. So see y'all all in 2026. So hopefully you really leverage this conversation. And part of the reason why I only do this several times a year, I got this question towards the end of yesterday's live, is because when you're dealing with trying to book and close corporate institutional clients, there's a 30 to 90 day cycle. So the conversations that we're having today, this week, is going to affect you in Q4 of this year. So October, November, December, to see if you could be able to close out 2025 on a high result. So this is the reason why I strategically do these programs, like either in the spring, April, and September, right before the last quarter. So this is actually a strategic reason why I make sure to have these conversations so you can actually leverage it effectively. Anytime after today, just be a completely different experience, unless you're part of our multi-week accelerator program, where we're walking through the execution part of getting these paid clients into the fall. So that's the reason why this will be the last session of 2025. But without further ado, you are here for day 3. And I will say to you that this has been an amazing couple of days, sharing insights with all of you, hearing your questions, hearing your challenges, and really engaging with many of you who are entrepreneurs, who are amazing pioneers, amazing innovators, creating valuable companies and valuable, products and services that really serve your market, but not able to leverage your voice, your experience, your expertise to really accelerate your impact and accelerate your reach. And that's the part of the reason why I'm so inspired by this vision and really trying to get out there the strategic ways to do this. Because again, I've been in the game for over 10 years now as a global speaker. I've spoken at over 300 plus conferences around the world. You name it, whether it be speaking at the United Nations, a TED Talk, speaking, for government and world leaders, speaking for institutional clients like Harvard, the U.S. State Department, MasterCard, AT&T, you name it, I've been there, and I've been featured. I'm so grateful to think that I've been featured in almost every single mainstream media outlet out there, from Forbes to Entrepreneur to Inc. to Fast Company. And so I've been around, for the past decade. I know I look young, but I've been around. And I learned a lot of hard lessons. And so this is personal for me, for my fellow entrepreneurs. I know entrepreneurship right now, this is a season of real innovation and real change. I know a lot of people are going through a lot, but I'm here to tell you that slow and steady still wins the race. This is meant to accelerate your effort, so that way you know how to turn left when people are telling you to turn right, how to stay straight and stay on course when you want to give up, and how to really, think proactively about how to really prepare yourself over the next couple of weeks, over the next couple of months, and of course, over the next couple of years as you navigate and plan out your career and your future, with public speaking being at the heart of your acceleration strategy for opportunity. So that's why I'm doing this. And so with that said, with this being session 3, we're going to cover specifically, round this conversation out with where to find opportunities. Now, just to recap on the invitation I gave yesterday, because many of you are like, look, Christine, this has been crazy insightful. I already see comments coming in, questions coming in already at the beginning that I'm going to answer immediately. But many of you said, like, look, you gave us the frameworks, you gave it a strategy, you didn't hold back for the past 2 days. How can we start working with you? And usually to start working with me, it's a couple grand investment to be able to work with me in one of my 2 signature courses, one being the Paid Speaker Accelerator program. However, I always want to get to know my clients first. And I think that, trying to get you through the first hurdle, the first challenge is usually the best way to do that. So this is why I've invited you guys, and this is the last opportunity to receive this invitation to the public speaking booking workshop, where I will sit down with you for about an hour for 2 days straight to help you write your proposal. Remember, I told you the proposal is a tipping point for you to articulate the value and the ROI of your keynote talk, your 20-minute keynote speech that will get booked for $5,000 and above speaking engagements, 10K and above. So if you need help with that, you want to work with me in a more intimate setting, we usually pull out a Google Doc and we get to work. I give you the template and I help you customize it. So by the end of 2 days, you're not just coming out with the frameworks and strategies, and high level information, you're coming up with an actual document that you can start sending out to your first set of 100 clients. By the way, at the end of the workshop, you get your first set of 100 clients. Now, many of you have asked questions about the Paid Speaker Accelerator program. The reason why I've been delayed sharing with it on this workshop is because we're almost half full for the program, and I really want to customize it with less clients this year, because I'm really going to do a deep dive for this cohort this fall. It starts in mid-October. If you want more information about the Paid Speaker Accelerator program, it's from mid-October to mid-November, and that's when you work with me for 4 weeks in depth, and I'm helping you craft your signature talk. I'm helping you do your go-to-market strategy. I'm helping you get your website optimized. If you've never done a website, I'm a coder. I'll help you, be able to get that up and running, really get you ready to start reaching out to clients with me, coaching you through the entire process from start to finish. So that entire pyramid scheme that we talked about is a full strategy of getting paid to speak. We go through the entire process in depth to make sure that you're executing, implementing, and getting it out there in the market as quickly as possible. That is eventually going to be by invitation only, but this is the last cohort of the year as well. And so that is the Paid Speaker Accelerator program. Comment paid if you want access to more information on that live series. That is a multi-week series that happens in mid-October. So more information to come on that. Now, going back to the fundamentals, this is the secret sauce. This is literally my strategy from start to finish. Okay, my public speaker booking sprint method. This is what I started doing to start to get paid gigs. I remember prior to knowing this strategy, prior to the countless conversations I had in the green rooms, private conversations I've had with, event organizers, private conversations I've had with, people on my network, to get this information, to get this strategy that I'm giving to you today for free. People pay, by the way, thousands of dollars with consulting sessions just to get a fraction of this information that I'm giving on this strategy blueprint that I just gave you with this method. I am telling you, this pyramid scheme that I just shared with you, the strategy, the 5 steps to get paid to speak, it takes people years. Sometimes if they're really industry leaders and they haven't figured this out, sometimes decades, okay, years to figure this out. And really what it is a 5-step plan to get exclusive paid speaking engagements as quickly as possible based on your expertise. And it all starts with, first and foremost, I'm going to reiterate this again because I'm going to sound like a broken record because I can't tell you how many of you default to listen to people who don't know what they're talking about on the internet and end up being frustrated and back at square one. So first things first is to stop speaking on multiple different topics and have a signature product. That is your signature talk, 20 minutes or less. What is your breakthrough message that you want to give to the world that's associated with your expertise, your experience, and your thought leadership? Boom. From having that product, that signature talk, you move on to making sure that people associate and align you with that signature talk. That is topic, thought, leadership. So you're at top of mind. So usually people publish on their website. Usually people publish on their LinkedIn. It doesn't have to be like, a book deal. A lot of people in this section, they usually have a book deal. This is the reason why you see a lot of people do book deals, because that's probably the ultimate checklist to showcase that you are now authors, which means you really have taken some time to put thought leadership out into the universe. That's where this comes in. But if you do not have the bandwidth or you have not come to the capacity to publish an actual book, you can publish it as thought leadership, as an article, or post the title and the breakthrough message and the information behind it on your website, through blogs, stuff like that. So usually in the Paid Speaker Accelerator program, we show you how to be able to do that in a 30-day window cycle. The third thing is positioning, not you speaking verbatim at length for no reason on social media and posting every day and getting burned out. I am not a crazy social media person. Sometimes I wonder why people follow me, because across all my social media channels, I have about 90,000 followers. I do not know why they follow me. And I'm just like, because I just don't like posting on social media. But when I do post, I'm either just, fired up, saying something that's really personal, vulnerable, and open and honest, or I've given tips and strategies. So maybe that's why they follow. But the point is positioning by giving brand visibility, not by just overdoing it on social media, but giving clarity to your LinkedIn profile. That's why today I will be picking a couple of LinkedIn profiles to do an audit and feedback on. And last but not least, this is the foundational piece, product published positioning. However, the tipping point that gets you into the category where you get paid to speak, where you go from being a branded speaker that people know about to a paid speaker that's professional, has a speaker business, is a proposal. This is the reason why the public speaker booking workshop, I'll share the link for you guys to join that, is such a phenomenal opportunity, because it's the first breakthrough that you need to be able to get on the speaker circuit to get paid. A lot of people, this is their first hurdle. They don't know how to articulate the value of their signature talk. So they get stuck trying to articulate this through conversations, through calls, through yada, yada, yada. But that's one-page proposal breaks through all the noise, and is the document that's needed amongst corporate decision makers to circulate that throughout their company to make a decision whether you're the right person to come and speak at that institution. Okay, so it's very, very crucial that you have that element ready to go. So that is the tipping point. And of course, you don't have to wait for inbound opportunities. It's all about outbound, right? Now that you have your stuff together and you have that proposal, this is where the fun begins. Now you can put yourself out there, not asking people in an email, hey, are you looking for speakers? And say, hey, I noticed your organization has, an entrepreneurship program. Are you looking for speakers in this category? And you have the proposal to showcase the ROI of your thought leadership in your speaker keynote, right? Completely different experience when now you're outreaching and have a pipeline and a database of actual clients who actually need your work. This is the reason why, again, during the public speaker booking workshop, this is the first step that we tackle with you live. The link is on the thread for you to be able to access that, for you to be able to get past this hurdle. Because I know once you build the confidence to have this proposal ready, to start targeting your target client, you are ready to go to want to double down on other elements of the speaker journey if you want to work with me in a greater capacity to be able to accelerate your efforts long term. So this is the secret method that I've shared with you over the past 3 days. And I want to reiterate that. So today, we're going to talk about all the places where you can find speaking engagements to get booked for, because not every place is created equal. I think a lot of people, they usually go to multiple events and get referred in, they ask questions, but there's a better way to scale your efforts in today's digital age. And so I wanted to share that with you. So we're going to talk today about pipeline. Now, before I get into that, I saw a couple questions coming in. Let me respond to the first question. Oh yeah, nice. Her question was, hey, this has been super informative. I look forward to the workshop. Question, please. Is it best to set up a LTD company or a sole trader for a speaker business? This is a phenomenal question. This is something that we actually do help you set up in the Speaker Accelerator program, where we talk about how to incorporate, how to actually create a business around your personal brand as a thought leader. Usually, if you're going to get paid on a consistent basis and you don't want to pay, usually it's for tax reasons, because once you start hitting those double digits, you don't want 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 coming into your personal account. So eventually you're going to want to actually legitimize it and have a business. So that way you can have literally your portfolio of clients. Let's say you have, sometimes for guys, like 5 to 10 clients a year is all you need to have a 6-figure speaker business, okay? And so that's literally why it's usually good to incorporate. Again, I usually tell people you don't need to incorporate until you're in the big leagues yet. The small 1K, 2K, 3K checks is fine for now. If you're okay with that, goes in your personal account. But once you start hitting these 5-figure deals and above, and then of course, by the way, remember, these keynotes lead to workshop opportunities, which is our bigger checks, multi-year contract opportunities that I usually do as well. I've had a $250,000 on contract deals, 300K contract deals with institutions to speak on a consistent basis with them. That's when you want to have a legitimate company, because you don't want that type of money coming into your personal account. So hopefully that clarified that question. So yes, you do want to do it eventually when you're at that certain point. And by the way, if you're in the US, UK market, the reason why I say you could wait a little bit is because it takes like 24 to 72 hours to incorporate and get everything set up with a banking institution with these market. So I wouldn't be scared about waiting a little bit till you know you're in the right position to do so. Okay. So pipeline, everybody. And guys, you can keep your questions coming. I will stop the conversation to answer them, because I want to make sure that this is interactive and helpful as you have that thought come to your head. So please do not hesitate to ask questions. This is the last day for you guys to engage. And let me tell you this, housekeeping. Every time I do these sessions, I get a flood of questions coming to emails. My team usually get it at hello@christineandtim.com, where people say, oh, I had this question. I will not answer them. I'm going to repeat that again. I will not answer them. And I always tell my team, do not forward me those questions, because we are here live. We're engaged. We're ready to go. Send them on the chat feed right now. Any question that you have, I am so excited to be able to explore it with you, answer it for you. You know, I'll be vulnerable, open, candid, and honest with anything that you put on the thread. So put it out there. Let's be engaged. Let's actually crystallize the purpose of you being here and maximizing this 1-hour session. So just want to put it out there. Don't wait till after to ask your question. Put it in the chat, and I love to answer them, because I love questions. I love hearing what you guys are going through and responding and being a solution for you. Okay. Pipeline. Let's talk about pipeline. How do we get multiple engagements? Because remember, I told you institutional clients is 30, 60, 90-day cycles. So you want to be almost juggling multiple conversations. Okay. So that way, let's say this deal closes. The next one's going to close in 2 weeks. The next one is going to close in 1 week. The next one will close just like that. So that way you're not closing a deal and then hustling for the next one over the next couple weeks, and then having a feast and famine cycle where one moment you're hot, you're getting booked for paid gigs, and one moment you're just like, what's happening? You don't want that to happen. So when I was transitioning from speaking at multiple events for free, then I started getting into the market and being able to get paid gigs, but I wasn't good at really managing that process. So there were times where I was just really, really busy. And there were times where I'm just like, when's my next gig, right? And so again, guys, I've been through it all. So this is the reason why I want to share with you not only where to find places, but also articulate a little bit how to manage that pipeline, so you have a smooth, consistent, elevated way to be able to find engagements. FYI, I just want to make sure. So let's dive right in. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. So public speaking, there's multiple places where you can find opportunities, but these are the 10 best ways to generate public speaking opportunities. I'm going to break it down for you, because usually people say like, oh, just Google, and oh, go to Eventbrite, and then ask somebody. And, I just get so frustrated when people are just BSing and just not really giving a real site or a real place to go to. And so I want to be able to, I see a comment here, someone's just laughing. I want to deep dive. Obviously, I cannot go over all of this in depth during the live feed because we only have less than an hour. But in the Paid Speaker Accelerator program, we go over each one of these categories at length and how your go-to-market strategy for each one of those categories, because each one of them have a different approach on how to find the right decision maker for those categories. So again, comment paid if you want information on the Paid Speaker Accelerator program. But without further ado, let's dive into this conversation. And I break this 10 bracket area into 2 different areas, okay? So because I've been in the game for so long, I recognize that I also don't want to be a speaker hustling, chasing for opportunities, okay? I love the fact that I've monetized my brand in a way that I can just literally just chill and not have to worry. I could generate 6 figures to 7 figures, you know, and above per year, depending on my moves. Because by the way, I don't know if you guys know, as a mother and a wife, I have about 4 different kids, you know, growing my family almost every 2 years. And I will tell you, I like having sabbaticals. And I like knowing that I could control my business and also my personal brand in terms of the monetization pool by just focusing on spreading the pool. So I say all that to say, if you notice, 60% that I suggest that you do with your speaker business is to be direct to consumer. Go directly to your audience and monetize your content and your keynote talk through the audience. So that's social media, platform distribution, hosting your own webinars like what I'm doing, hosting your own in-person retreats, doing consulting sessions, create your own product line to monetize your signature thought leadership. Try to make 60% of your business that. It will help you tremendously, okay, to be able to have autonomy, control, and literally, I don't know how to describe it. You go into negotiations and conversations with decision makers at the corporate level with a different type of oomph and a different type of energy, because you're like, this is not my bread and butter. So you are able to select the things that really matter to you and, again, negotiate a better fee. Okay, so just FYI, I think it's the best way to go. However, you guys are here for that 40% of getting these closed deals with these institutional clients. And the 5 that I usually talk about that you could find engagements, which is obviously conferences, which is the one that everyone knows about, associations, academia. So that's all the universities across the planet, high schools as well. High schools pay as well, but, you know, college, universities, and masters are really the best ones. Government, and then corporate booking. So, and usually the do that is usually like through emails, RFP submissions, and databases. So I'm going to highlight that a little bit more today. So for conferences, this is the one that I feel like everyone does. And I do think Eventbrite is enough to like be able to find some of the high level conferences that are okay to get booked. And usually when it comes to conferences, I always tell people, it's not about, you know, whether they are looking for speakers and whether they can afford you. It's about, okay, this conference, you know, what is their lineup, and, you know, are they looking for a specific type of ROI, and what are their sponsors? Because usually sponsors are looking for a certain type of thought leadership at an event. And so I've gotten really good to look at the high level conferences. Now, I will say a lot of conferences have defaulted to not pay speakers to speak nowadays because there's so much visibility that they could promote for that, unless they're an event that's backed by a multi-year or a complex budget for a company. So for example, let's say it's like a training day for a corporate institution. It's not specifically just a conference at that point. It's a part of the budget for employee wellness and development at an institution. It's very different. So you got to understand, is it a standalone conference or is it a part of a multi-year activation point for an institution? That will help you know the budget size, but also the budget approach to getting you to be a paid speaker for that program and event. Obviously, there's another way to be able to find engagements. I have Google alerts and certain terminology that go specifically to a certain email account that I created just for speaker booking sources that my team clings through. And every time there's an alert on a certain topic or certain conference, they send it and they're able to respond and get opportunities that way. And of course, we sign up for a lot of newsletters. So in the Paid Speaker Accelerator program, we name what those newsletter names are, but they are specific newsletters that actually give information on speaking engagements that are looking for speakers, including my newsletter, by the way. So every month I share like about 10 to 20 engagements that are looking for speakers. I even share the emails of the event organizer, okay, for you to contact them directly. So these are newsletters where it's constant information and updates where they're looking for speakers and they're trying to close as quickly as possible, okay? And by far my favorite is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is by far my favorite place to source events. To this day, even though you could book through my website, I get the majority of my speaking engagements through LinkedIn DM. So it's a huge source of opportunity and revenue for me, my business, and my personal brand. So that is the top notch right there. The other thing I wanted to recommend as well, let me see if I can put this up here. Someone just brought this up as a question. Someone asked, how do I use Eventbrite to pick the right event? So first off, I usually don't target free events that look like they're not sponsored. That's one. Second, I usually look at, first off, what cities they're located in. I usually pick specific cities. So that way, if I don't want to fly out, it's easy to come to the event and just be able to leverage it for what it's worth. But what I've noticed on Eventbrite, that a lot of the ones that are looking for paid speakers, either it's like something where it's like a multi-$1,000 ticket event. So those ticket events where it's like 3,000 or above, usually they have the budget and they have sponsored, they have the budget to pay a speaker, because one ticket could pay like a very small speaker to come to the event, right? I'm looking at those like 5-10K ticketing events. Definitely I reach out to those type of programs with my team because they look like they have the budget. And what we do when we do reach out to them, this is a big hack that I want to share with you guys, is we don't just share, hey, are you looking for speakers? By the way, we hate those type of emails. It's so annoying. You just sound like spam. We actually look at the agenda and see where someone like me would fit in the agenda. So that way the event organizer is not even looking, getting a pitch email from us, but we're actually doing the work for them and say, like, I believe like between 12:20 and 12:45, you have a good window to fit this into the agenda, especially considering that you have no female speakers at the event that's speaking specifically on tech and entrepreneurship. I think it will be a great contribution. Here's her, proposal information, right? And so those are really good because that is a very comprehensive 1 or 2 line email that just gets straight to the point. And we don't say, are you looking for speakers? Like, who is in charge with booking speakers or closing speakers? Because I'm using certain language to let them know, like, I'm not coming in there for free. We're coming there for a paid business transaction. Let's know if this is what you want to do. So that way they can get to know or ignore me as quickly as possible. By the way, the quicker you could get to know or someone ignoring your email, the better, because you don't want to be wasting your time with someone who just want to get on a call with you and have a conversation, because there are bad actors in the industry who will get you on a call just to hear your thought leadership and still not book you, right? And leverage that content that you're saying to give the speaker that they did actually book, to give them pointers on how to make their talk even better. I've seen that happen a lot, okay? So try to get straight to the point. Don't be shy and have an expectation that you're going to ask at the last minute, are they going to pay? Like, be very upfront, FYI, or do you have a budget to pay me to come speak? If they don't, move on, be kind, be respectful, but just keep it moving, okay? So just wanted to share that. So let's talk about, email outreach then. So if you're going to reach out, one thing that I would say is, back in the day when I first got into the speaker circuit, email outreach was so good. Like, you could just put, you're a Forbes speaker and people were converted. You could put that, being featured in Entrepreneur Magazine. You could put Harvard case study entrepreneur, because, I have a business that's in Harvard Business School case study that would get a high conversion, or, multi-million revenue generating entrepreneur available for speaking engagements. Those type of milestone achievements will get an event organizer to want to book you immediately. But because so many people have branded themselves and really put themselves out there, they get all the different pitches. And I'm saying this even as an event organizer myself. Luckily, thank God, I no longer manage any of our email accounts. I no longer manage any of our event management accounts when it comes to closing and placing speakers on agendas. Thank God to my stand on the team for doing that. But my God, we get a lot of messages. And so you get to the point where you just kind of screen them out. And so I'm telling you, both with my speaker hat and also event organizer hat. So I'm giving 2 sides of the coin so you can understand. So I want to put an example of something that used to work that does not work right now. Because I think a lot of people on the internet, they always try to show you, oh, this is the new thing, but they don't tell you what to stop doing so you can stop doing it. Okay. So if you look at this on the screen here, if you guys are looking at the screen, the subject line is like the name of the person, right? Always customize it with who you're talking to. Follow up on Forbes speaker for the company that you're going. So let's say I'm reaching out to MasterCard. Emma, follow up on Forbes speaker for MasterCard, right? So now I've identified the company, I've identified the person, so it's personalized for the person I'm talking to. So I'm like, hi Emma, are you in charge of booking speakers for MasterCard? So have you noticed? I'm not saying, are you looking for speakers? Are you in charge of booking speakers? I'm making very clear the language of business here. I would love to recommend one of our first female speakers who is a powerful African-American singer entrepreneur who grew up in Haiti and known for inspiring people with practical advice. There's a link to my profile. There's a link to my calendar. And there's a link to my video from my previous keynote, Best Anna. This was my previous assistant. Now, in the past, this was a great email. Do you guys know why this doesn't work anymore? I want to get some messages in the comments. Do you guys know why? I see another question. I'm going to answer it in a minute, Sebastian. But like, why does this not work anymore? And you got to understand, because honestly, the first email you send got to be like 3 sentences max or less, or else it will be ignored. But why does this not work? Okay. So I'm seeing a couple of comments. It's too wordy, too many links. Too much bragging. No, the bragging is fine. You got to show them why you're relevant. Okay. So the main reason why this doesn't work is for 2 specific reasons. One, there's too much hype about the person. If you're good at what you do, just one link should be able to say, where they go on your site, like, yeah, this girl's badass. That's it. Too much experience. So that whole first paragraph, I would love to work out, was too much. Take it out. The second thing is there are too many links. When you have too many call to actions, people just have decision fatigue and they end up not doing anything at all. They just ignore it or they'll come back to it. The best thing I could have put there was probably just the video of my video of me doing the keynote, because, you know, it's proof is in the pudding. Just one video link to that clip would have said everything that they need to know, or a link to my LinkedIn profile, or a link to my proposal. But other than that, one link, one call to action, never have multiple call to actions. And the last reason why this doesn't work is also I didn't really customize, understand what the company needs. It was really more about me and why I'm a good fit. I didn't look at what there is. So now going forward, the email pitches is something that we go over in the Paid Speaker Accelerator program. Is like, you got to look at who's the decision maker, and we go do a quick run through their LinkedIn to find out what their biggest pain points are. And we say, hey, we noticed that MasterCard just launched an entrepreneurship incubator program last week. Are you currently booking speakers for that? Because we know that, you know, you guys specifically have an 8-week window to make that a successful cohort for 2025, for example. Now I'm showing her that I did my work. I'm showing her I did my due diligence, but I'm also showing her it's time sensitive to get me on, because they're trying to close out 2025, right? So this is something that it looks like it's extremely customized, but it's what we show you through LinkedIn in the program is so easy to spot. Okay, and get that information. So it's flipping the switch a little bit, because it's like you're not just prioritizing your brand and your messaging. You're really just trying to get the word out there. Okay, so let me start answering some of these questions. So I got a question coming in here. Thank you, Christine. How do you negotiate a panel opportunity? So panel opportunities are fine. Usually they have I've found that we usually have panel opportunities when it's harder to get paid for a panel. Because at that point, you're really just contributing to our conversation, unless you have already a default stipend and a payment for the speakers. Like usually they're like, oh, we're giving, apologies for that, someone just driving a motorcycle doing the most. Usually they like have like, let's say like 2,005 or 3,000 per speaker on a panel, and so they have to, are you serious? They usually have a specific budget around who's speaking on the conversation. And rarely can you give like powerful thought leadership coming on a panel. What you usually try to aim for is a keynote talk, because a keynote, you are literally coming there to give value, thought leadership, and dominate a stage, or a fireside chat. Those are usually easy to price. But if you are going to negotiate, just ask them what is the typical budget range that they provide for speakers to come into the panel, and you take it from there. So thank you for that question. Yaba has a question. Is it because it's not the speaker email directly? So no. So that's great. So a long time ago, I recognized that you pitching yourself directly to the event organizer actually cheapens you, because if you are really a professional speaker who is getting booked for engagements, you usually have someone. And I actually think you should actually get someone to work for you, actually, to be honest with you. You should get someone, even if it's an intern, like 10 hours per week to help you out. They should be the ones sending these emails out. But if you can't, then, you hustle, you do your thing. But it's not really so much like, because this is a email coming from a third party. It's just really, it was just too wordy, too many call to actions, and not highlighting specifically what that person needed. Okay. You're welcome, Sebastian. No worries. I see another question. Can you speak about finding government clients? So government clients are amazing. I love my government clients. However, government clients are a little bit slow when it comes to, getting you to act, and then they go slow, and then all of a sudden panic. Yo, it's next week. We gotta get you on. So just a little bit high blood pressure there. I just wanted to let you know government clients are a little bit different to work with, depending on the governments you're working with. Obviously, U.S. State Department is great, but I will tell you, other government entities I work with is pretty interesting. But when it comes to finding government clients, you got to know the level of government you want to work with. And that's usually the first thing I ask people, like, okay, you want to work with the government, but what level? Do you want to work with the national level? So in my example, using United States of America, U.S. State Department is at the national level, the federal level, right? Do you want to work at the state level? So state level, I'm probably looking at the Economic Development Corporation, which works at the state level for New York, right? Or am I looking at the city level? Am I looking at, borough by borough, because each borough usually has different government entities, like the Small Business Administration is also a national level. You got to figure out what level you want to start with, and that helps narrow the focus, because, by the way, the RFPs and the booking requirements are very different at different stages. It's usually easier to book speaking engagements at the low level than at the state, at the national level, FY. So just wanted to make that clear. That first, when looking at government engagements, like, what level do you want to start with? The second thing is, like, what agencies in the government you want to work with. The same thing with corporate. You can't just say, I want to speak for MasterCard. Like, what department at MasterCard do you want to speak at? Is it the learning and development, employee wellness, HR department? Is it the I don't know, the sales and marketing department? When you look at the government, let's say you want to look at the state level, what agency do you want to work with? So it's not really departments, but what agency do you want to work with? So do you want to work with the Small Business Administration? Do you want to work with the Economic Development Corporation? Do you want to work with the Women's Business Center? Like, what agencies do you want to work with? And then from there, it's really reaching out to either specific departments of that agency. So sometimes you can reach out to the HR director. You can reach out to learning development, like I've said before. Sometimes you can even reach out to the event organizer. So a lot of these agencies, to facilitate community development, they host a lot of events themselves. You can reach out to those organizers and ask them, do they, who's on their list of consultants that they book in procurement for these sessions? You see the wording with government, like, because procurement really works for them to trigger, you're consulting, you're experts, because it's not so much looking for a speaker for an event. They don't care about that. It's you articulating that, you're a consultant and expert. You could facilitate a workshop. You could facilitate a retreat. You could facilitate a program. So that's what what we would do with that government outreach. A follow-up about government clients. What about international? So international government clients, again, same thing. It's a different type of beast. Governments are kind of structured a little bit different than America. But one thing I know, as someone who's spoken across events across Africa, the Caribbean, and emerging markets, usually it's like, are you going to be speaking for a minister? Are you going to work for the U.S. Embassy abroad? Like, you got to be very specific. I know with Europe, they have a similar structure to America, where it's just like, okay, what agency do you want to work with? And you narrow down from there. Does the government have an innovation initiative that you can speak for? Same exact thing. Reach out to them and specifically articulating the ROI. And again, what I've noticed our government clients is like, who's your procurement manager? Can I speak to them? Who's your consultants manager? Who's your booking manager when it comes to facilitation of workshops for the company? And the last thing I would say is, with government, are you trying to speak for an internal government event, i.e. employee engagement or training, or are you speaking for their community constituents? So, for example, Small Business Administration is hosting an event for women entrepreneurs in the New York City tri-state area, right? So those are the differences. Even internationally, you got to make clear, like, who's the audience that you're targeting. Is it internally for the government or externally for their beneficiaries, okay? Someone asked, okay, like State Department. So State Department is actually the thing about State Department. I got recommended into State Department. So I don't really have a way for you to pitch State Department. But what I will say that I noticed when they told me how they found out about me was how frequently I talked on LinkedIn and how many people that I've met across multiple entrepreneurship events. Usually, if you are industry leader in your thought leadership, you are usually running in the same circles as these government officials because they usually are sponsoring similar events, active with certain type of entities. So with State Department, they have a speakers program where they select specific entrepreneurs from across the U.S. to speak on their behalf. But one thing that I always tell people is like, look, for internationally, you can reach out directly to the U.S. embassies and tell them during the educational culture department, are they looking for American speakers to speak at a global event? You can actually do that because every year they have a budget to actually host programs and events to really inspire entrepreneurship in certain communities around the world. And you could start that relationship from the U.S. Embassy specifically. You pick the country, say you were picking, I don't know, Amsterdam. Reach out to the U.S. Embassy there. Again, usually the target department is usually the education or cultural affairs department. And then from there, you can have a conversation. By the way, if you're abroad, you can walk into any U.S. embassy as a citizen. And that's probably the fastest way to say, hey, can I have an in-person meeting with a State Department head about that? And look, I can't confirm or deny whether it would work specifically in your situation every time. But I've seen the U.S. Embassy in different locations. They are amazing people. They work really hard to uphold the entrepreneur and innovation values of America around the world. And they're usually open to having U.S. speakers come in and be of value to the community. So I love how they work. So definitely reach out. Questions are coming in like fire right now. All right. What tips would you share with us regarding the higher education center, if possible? Thank you. Great question. So you guys are like, let's run down the industries. I love it. Okay, so education. So if you're talking about education, same thing. I'm like, my brain, this is how it works. So I'm looking for target clients. I'm chiseling and I'm getting focused. So with the entrepreneur sector, who do you want to start with? Is it university levels? Is it the master's degree level? And same thing that I've said before. Like I'll probably target the universities and okay, at the universities, what departments? Is it the alumni department? Is it the entrepreneurship center if they have one? Is it the career services department? It's another huge department that are always looking for speakers, right? Universities are usually really great for that. Sometimes I can reach out to master's programs like, hey, are you looking for guest facilitators, guest speakers for our module in the MBA curriculum? That's usually the best way to reach out to the education department for a master's degree program. They usually have guest speakers come in for a specific module. That's a great way to reach out to them. High school is a little bit different, but I would recommend, I don't know if you know, at least for the US, NACA, NACA is the largest database of collegiate university, high school affiliates in America. And there is a membership fee, an annual membership fee, but I guarantee you'll make the money back within 1 gig. Like it is the fastest way to get booked for university education clients. So you could look it up, NACA, NACA, if you're looking for educated related clients. Like you will find that there is a membership fee. I think the lowest membership fee per year, I think it's like 900 or something like that, or even like 6 something. There's even one in short-term one for 350. But I'm telling you, you will make the money back, okay, within that year because it's literally they have the phone numbers, the emails, that organize the information for you to like get booked. And by the way, academia always needs speakers. Like I get a lot of bookings from academia, right? They always need speakers. They always need thought leadership all the time. So that's actually a really easy sector to break into. The pay slips is different than the corporate, which are a little bit higher, but you fill in the gaps as you see fit. So hopefully that answered your question, Gary. Thank you for that. Right. So if there are any more questions, keep them coming. I will answer them as I see them. All right. So in the program, when we're doing these email outreach, you got to keep track of it. So we have this tracker in the program to make sure to help you be able to track and manage your outreach effectively. And it really boils down to really staying consistent with this method, staying focused, and really articulating Again, my signature talk, here's my proposal. This is what the ROI is. This is why it's beneficial for your community. This is why you want to have this for your audience. You got to get really clear and honest with your community, because it helps so much when you have that proposal and have that information clear and succinct for your target buyer, right? So today we talked about pipeline. So another thing I wanted to talk about for database pipeline is other sites that I'll just throw out there that, that I think are really great. Platforms like eSpeakers are great. Platforms like Intel Engine are really great. These are platforms that we actually go over in this program. And by the way, at the Public Speaking Brooklyn Workshop, we do go over some of these databases as well and share with you, just so you know where to source your first target clients. That's why I said at the end of it, you're able to list out your first 100 clients that you're going to reach out to, by the way. And so this is the reason why this booking opportunity is such a great opportunity for many of you. So shout out to those who are already booked to be a part of it, and those of you who are excited about the program. So that is another set of 2 databases that work. But again, once you find these databases, it's really articulating your language. Not, are you looking for speakers? Who's in charge of booking speakers? Not being too wordy with the email. Number 2, not being too wordy with the email, being very to the point and having one call to action, not multiple call to action. And number 3, being very targeted, depending on the industry where you want to go to in terms of the pipeline, creating that spreadsheet. Like right now, if I were to go on a spreadsheet with you guys right now, I would be like, okay, let's go on LinkedIn, let's see what your signature talk is, and let's do your database planning right now. And we'll find thousands of people by name, by department, by budget line item, why they will be the right person to be able to pitch your information to. So I want to end with breaking down how this would work, right? Because sometimes it's very hard for you guys to visualize what a speaker business looks like in terms of generating revenue just from your thought leadership alone. So I thought, you know what, let me show you what it'll look like. So on average, I want to be honest here. Some of you, maybe not out the gate, you're going to get high 10K deals. Let's just be honest. Some of you will do well. Some of my clients have done well where they got 10K out the gate, 15, 20K. But on average, even novices get anywhere between $1,000 and $5,000 for their first speaking engagement fee. Okay, paid fee. Okay. So on the low end, $1,000, on the high end, $5,000. So on average, around $3,000 per fee. Okay. So ideally, if you're reaching out to a couple of gigs and you're able to close, let's say 1 gig per month, right? Which is possible. If you follow the strategies that I showed you in the Paid Speaker Accelerator program, you'll be able to at least close 1 gig per month. Okay. By the end of the year, you would have generated at least $36,000. So I don't know about you, for a lot of you, an extra $36K could go a long way for your business, your brand, your household, your goals. Pretty cool, okay? Just for talking for an hour or less for different engagements, okay? Now, and usually the best way to do that is, reaching out to at least 100 leads per month, which is very, very minimal. That's less than 20 emails a week. Okay, very, very, very easy to do, 20, 25 emails per week. So it's very possible to be targeted and reach out to people and generate a good portion of 36K per year. Now, let's talk about you being able to be smart enough to go through the program with me and being able to convert that into workshop opportunities. Because if you're a good keynote speaker and you give value, they might say, okay, the framework that you shared in the keynote will be very beneficial to our clients. Can you bring that in the form of a workshop? So now you're able to close a couple workshop deals, okay? And usually these workshop deals are, let's say, 10K a piece. So now you're able to 5 in a year, 50K. So in addition to your keynote sessions, now you're generating 86K a year doing just keynotes and a couple of workshop clients, okay? So you see how this is starting to evolve. Now let's say, okay, you really listen to me and say, okay, I want to go a little bit beyond. I want to launch a course. I want to be able to do a conference once a year. I want to be able to host a retreat. When you look at that, 12 keynotes a year, you're at 36K, 5 workshops a year, you're at 50K. You launch a course for $1,000 a pop, you get just 10 people in a year to really inspire and support and really give them great insight. That's 10K. You do a conference, you charge $300, you get just 50 people to show up. That's 15K. You do 1 retreat, you get just 5 people to show up, 25K. You're looking at a 6-figure year, right? And the reason why I broke this down little by little, because sometimes some of you have the bandwidth to do all of this right now, and I will expose that to you in the Paid Speaker Accelerator program, right? But for some of you, it's like, look, I just want to do this, and you could either do an overdrive, or you could just like take a chill pill and just get an extra 36K. But I want to share with you the evolution of what this can become, where you can start living off of this after a while. I usually say, like, look, continue being an entrepreneur, continue running a business. This is more of a supplemented 6-figure pathway to your business, to your brand. Such an amazing feeling to generate 6 figures a year with your personal brand as a paid public speaker. It's a truly phenomenal experience, right? I'm showing you the breakdown of how that looks like, because a lot of people, they've never had a speaker business before, so they don't even know what this actually looks like. So I wanted to share that with you. And all that, by the way, a lot of it will stem with how you're able to, by the way, manage your social media profile and presence, not just your website. I'm really big on social media in terms of LinkedIn. And I know we're running out of time, so I'm not able to do a lot of LinkedIn audits. But usually it starts with how I articulate my thought leadership on LinkedIn to get that visibility to be able to close, institutional clients. Okay. But with that said, we are a little bit out of time. So I want to be able to answer any final questions that we have on the call. We covered a lot. It's because you guys answered a lot of questions during the call, so that took some time, but I'm happy that you guys did. I want to conclude with this visual again, and I'm going to keep beating it down into you guys like a beating rug, because this is your secret to success, to break into the speaker industry, to be able to get paid, get visibility, get authority and clarity in 2025 and beyond. This is the strategy I've been doing for years. It has positioned me very well. Every time I'm also, even when I'm pivoting to a new topic, when I'm pivoting to a new market, this is a strategy that I do on rinse and repeat to be able to make sure that I'm clear and targeted, and making sure that I always cross the tipping point every single time. Get that proposal out there to be able to close the right deal. And this is, again, the reason why this will be my last chance, to invite you guys to join me for the public speaker booking workshop. Because one, it's important that you understand that if you do not know how to articulate the value of your keynote talk or your signature talk, you will not get booked and paid. You may think, oh, well, it's inspiring. I'm doing a great performance. I get standing ovation, so that's why people pay me. No, that's when you know how to make people feel good, but you have not articulated the ROI of that talk. So you'll still be back at square one. So one, it's really helping you to be able to articulate the value of your thought leadership. Two, it's just one page. Can you imagine that you are blocking yourself from paid engagements and opportunities just because you do not know how to put together one page for corporate clients? It's not that hard. It just takes some time and some coaching, and I would love to help you with that. And last but not least, it is the first challenge that I see a lot of people deal with when it comes to getting themselves out there to really be able to close deals. So if this is something that's a barrier for you, let's break the barrier and get you on your way to the next step, the public speaker booking workshop. Again, it's a workshop, so we're using Google Docs. There's no PowerPoint, by the way. Anyone who's been a part of the workshop can tell you there's no PowerPoint. It's all implementation and execution. We're going to be working on your Google Doc, so that way you are able to walk away not just with templates, but your full proposal ready to go. All right. So that is really crucial and important that that's very clear that this is the next step. Post this 3-day live to get you guys, now you know the secret, you know the strategy, you know the framework. Let's actually act on it and get you ready to move forward. So with that said, I want to give you guys a warm thank you for being a part of the Get Booked to Speak Bootcamp. This is the last session of the year. So this is it, guys. If you are part of this live session, you got a lot of inside information. I always get so much great feedback. Please put your feedback in the comments. How was this for you? A one-liner, just any comments. Like, how was this experience for you? Was it helpful? Was it useful? Because I love showing up live and provide this insight. So please give me some feedback in the comments. That I'll be most grateful. That's your way of saying thank you, if that's possible, all right? Because these are live free events where I'm able to just come up live and share with you what I do to get these engagements on a regular basis. Again, housekeeping, next steps. If you're ready to, take your career to the next level, you have two options. One, let's make the first step and go into the public speaker booking workshop. That is a live session that goes live next week, Monday to Tuesday. We close registrations. until we are full. And then second, if you want to work with me in a multi-week capacity, I have a full 4-week program, the last one of the year as well. That's from mid-October to mid-November. Comment paid in the comments, and I will share with you, because we are moving towards an invite only experience with that, because I realized that, you know, I really want to go in and help the next score take to the next level. So I kind of want less to be able to do that. So I'm really excited for this next cohort coming up, because this is something for me. I don't know why it's so personal to me, but I'm just tired of being the only one in the green rooms, guys, looking the way I do. So we need to fix that. So really looking forward to working with you guys in a deeper capacity. Again, give me some comments, give me some feedback how it went. I know we didn't have time for the LinkedIn live audits this time around, but those of you who are VIPs who are in the public speaker booking workshop, you will get a live LinkedIn audit, by the way. That's part of the program. You will get a live LinkedIn audit as part of the public speaker booking workshop. So not to worry if you didn't get it during this 3-day live, you will get it during the workshop. So nothing is lost or confused in that regard. So with that said, guys, thank you so much for an amazing experience. I'm going to stay on the call to see if there are any more questions. We're going to keep the link up for those of you who want to be able to sign up for the workshop. I see some people are giving us DM and questions on that for that. So definitely sign up for that. If you guys have any questions on that, please feel free to ask live. Again, I'm not shy to answer any questions on that. But again, we'll keep the music up. So we keep the links up so that way you guys can be able to book, because we are almost full and we want to close it out. And with that said, guys, I want this to be an amazing year. I want you to set yourself up for a remarkable 2026. The world is changing, okay? So much is happening right now that I know for a lot of you, it's easy to get overstimulated and overwhelmed, but I always feel like chaos is such a ladder of opportunity. I think that those of you who are going to stay the course and really hone in on your ability and capacity to really hone in on your thought leadership and be a public speaker and give that wisdom to others, you're going to see that your career is going to take twists and turns that you never saw coming for the better. And more importantly, you're going to see how you're going to be able to effectively scale your impact and influence in a way that will get you truly emotional. I have seen it. I've been in rooms where I've seen the impact of my voice and what I've done for others. And that's what I want from many of you. So with that, I wish you guys all the best. Stay in touch. For those of you who are in the public speaker booker workshop, congratulations. Those of you who are starting to join for the paid speaker accelerator program, congratulations. And those of you who decided to take the first step to be on this live and really improve your career, your life, to find your calling and your purpose, congratulations. It's always an honor and a pleasure to be with you. And you are officially done. Thank you so much for being a part of the Get Booked to Speak Bootcamp 2025. Let's go get them, y'all. Thank you so much. I'm Christine and Tim. Till next time. Bye-bye.